Okay, I don't know how long this one's going to be, but this is the last bit. They're all the bits on the floor, on the table, sorry. In this video I'll be showing how I get them all together and finishing all the other bits off. Fingers crossed. The main body back in now. Touched off against the back jaw, touched off against this face, and I've got the 4 holes along the top to drill and tap for M3. You got to be careful because the top set are a different drop than what the bottom set are from these faces, so you've just got to be careful because obviously like I say, one set slightly moves and the other set stays still. I think there's 100,000 difference in them really, but anyway, we'll get on and drill and tap them. Right, drill and tapping here for M3. I only show doing 1 hole because they're all the same. Right, I've started them threads off and I'm just going to finish them off now. Yes, I've stopped using the syringe because it's been leaking all over the place. I shall have to get something else. Trying to use the smallest tap wrench I've got and trying not to snap any. It's a fairly new tap. It's skidding a bit on the holder actually. I think that's the bottom. 7 more to go. Right, I've drilled and tapped. Luckily, nothing went wrong. Although I must admit, I did go slightly deeper. They wanted 3/16 4 3/4 milli. I've gone nearly 6 mil, making sure nothing would be in the way because these screws. I just wanted to make sure because I didn't have a bottom M3 tap. I have took the edge off one, but I just want to make sure there's going to be enough. Now they tell you to assemble your lower slide first. Now in the kit they give you a piece of shim steel that you drill. I think I went over that before. I held it with some plastic. And they tell you to mount it. You're giving yourself a packer. Now I'm mounting it, giving myself a little bit of a space behind. I'm not mounting it, so I'm going to cut into it with the dovetail when I get all the screws in the right place. And that packer is obviously to give you a little bit of an air gap when you put your dovetail in. So I'm going to get this screwed in if it decides to screw in. That one's not going in at the moment. I might be a little bit off with the hole, although they all went through before. Sod's law tells you it will do this to you. Ah, now it's going in. And the end one's being a bit funny. I think one of the holes must just be slightly out. There, it's going in. Right, now obviously it's M3, so you don't want to be cranking on these like Billy-O, but they do need to be tight down. The weather's pants again, so I might as well be in here trying to finish this off. Now, it tells you to do the lower slide first and then do the upper slide. I am going to run a clock along that to make sure I've got it flat. I'll do that off camera, but if we hang on, should be able to see. I can get that feeler gauge under there. This is a milli thick. So it tells you get your dovetail, touch on the top, This is, I think it's a quarter? I think it's a quarter thick. And they tell you to come down about 260 thou. So obviously the bottom of your dovetail should just clear. And like with the slide, it tells you to progressively go in until you've got about a 10th thou witness along here. Note your sizes, then put your upper bar on and go to the same size. Everything should all be in the same spot, so you should go to the same side. And it means really you can look at it while you're cutting it. You're not cutting behind you, are you? So I'm going to get a clock, run it along here, make sure I've got this flat, and we'll get the dovetail out and get cracking. Okay, I've just run a clock along there and it was about 3 thou out, so I put a 3 thou shim under this end and I am getting it flat. It's 0 0 either end. It might be the block because they're not faced up or anything, but anyway, if I get this as flat as possible along there, then theoretically speaking my dovetail should be parallel along there. I know it's only 3 thou, but anyway, it's gone now. Okay, I'm set up with my 60° dovetail. I've touched on the top, come down 260 thou, and I am going to now start to machine in there. I've clocked along there. What I did forget to do though was to clock along here just to make sure that that is running parallel, but I'll have a look to see how it's cutting. I could put this on the back, but I can see it clearly from this side, and effectively if I'm putting a 60° on there, when I put it on there it should be exactly the same. And like I say, I can look at it this way. It does say in the instructions later on when you put them on you might have to shim them about anyway, so we're going to get cracking with this and see how we go. Just angle this camera a bit more. Right, now visually looking, to me he's pretty damn the same. Now I've got a clean even witness all the way along there, and I went in to a setting of 750 thou. Now it won't be the same with the upper slide because these holes are, let's have a think now, it's only 10 thou difference, but I think I will be, let's have a think now, the other ones are in the middle, so I won't be going in as deep, but it should be, I would say, instead of 750 it should be coming down to read, because I'm going into minus there, so it should read 760 thou. We'll see. So I'm going to get this off now, clean everything up, then put the top slide back on with the shim, get it all bolted down and start again. I'll see you on the other side. And put the top piece in. Now because these holes are oversized, I'm forcing it back with my finger and then going to nip them all up, because these are meant to be slightly adjustable, so obviously I want it all the backlash kind of taken out, and if I press against it there's no way it can rattle further back. And fingers crossed, put 2 fingers on just to be on the safe side, tighten it all down. And again, when I start, I'll kind of monitor how it's cutting to make sure it's cutting in a nice, straight and even line. Right, finished these two now. I'm very happy with the finish, but it was a fairly new cutter. Now I am going to build this up loosely now, because they tell you to in the instructions, just to see how it is. Obviously they do say there could be some fettling involved, but let's have a look. And this is the first time I've put this together, so what we see here is me for the first time. Right, I'm nipping them up. I'm not going to tighten them. I mean, you can't tighten them very much as it is the size of what they are. Right, now then, do you know, I haven't even tried this in. That to me is a bit on the stiff side, but it's in. That, it moves all the way. They do say there will be a little bit of fitting, which I can understand. Now I haven't got obviously the rack and pinion in there, but that's by the by. Like I say, if you can believe me, this is the first time it's going together. So you're seeing this for the first time, same as me. I think that's why I'm dropping the screws all over the place. Now, like I say, obviously you put the lower in first. Now, like I say, you've got a bit of play on this, you see. So I'm going to nip this up and see what it's like. Now, after that, I've just loosened these off. And pressed them. So I should be shoving that dovetail plate in, and it locks up, which I like, because it means I have got that bit of play that they've explained you to do with oversizing the holes. So you've got that little bit to mess around with. So loosen them off, it begins to slide. So there is that adjustment there, which is great, which is just as they say to you, if you follow the instructions, that's what you're going to get. So I'm happy with that. That's given me my little bit of adjustment. If I think there's a bit of play in there, I know I've got that little bit of adjustment there to go that way. It will lock it up, which is great. That'll do for me. Over the moon. Little tip, I'm making this retaining piece. If you look at the drawing, it's the same width for the piece, but obviously you want this piece to move, so just tickle out a few thou. I forgot to, so I just had to put this back in. And obviously size and size don't fit, so I've just tickled a couple of thou, because this retaining piece has a radius cut in there and a little slot that I'm going to make in a minute, and obviously then it fits in there and holds this shaft in place. But you want to be able to turn that shaft as well. You cause a little bit of friction with the screw that's on it, but obviously it wants to move. got a little bit more to go. Obviously I don't have to be, I've pitched across, it is 3/8, pitched across the centre. You don't have to be too accurate, there is quite a little bit of extra left on here, so as long as we get cleaned up from side to side. That to me looks done. Yep, we'll have that. Right, now the next job on here is to put a slot in here, and I'm going to pull my parallels out and hope that I've gripped it enough in the jaws, because it's a fiddly little job. It wants a 5mm slot. We're going metric and imperial. Now to be honest, I've just took the slightest little skim off there, then obviously zeroed it, halved my cutter, converted it back to imperial, so I'm on that centre line. So the two centre lines that it shows you on the drawing I can relate to instead of pitching across. So it wants, I think it's 7/16 in, and then the slot is 200 thou. I shall go and check on the drawing. Bit of filing, bit of fitting, and that seems to work fine. Yay! Obviously a bit of fast forward here while I knock out this brass thumb string. Horrible music, sound and everything else that you can't really understand. It's nothing special really, just an M5 thread, a little boss, clearance boss, and then just a fine nerve on one end so you can grip it. Parted it off, flicked it up the other end, and job done. Now this is the indexing plate, and again I just fast forward because I kept the OD as it was, but I did later on take 10 thou off it, and so it located onto the ram better, because it's got to be a good fit, but it's also got to rotate, and the boss was just down to 1/2 inch, ready for drilling it and reaming it, which I'm going to show in the next bit. Drill and a reamer here on the end of the indexing plate, and once this was done I put it back in, flicked the other end up to size and checked it with the ram for the thickness. Now this is the indexing shaft. I just did this to suit what I had readily available, which was an 8mm reamer, and I then turned it down and threaded it M6, because again this is what I had readily available. Then it was just flicked up to length, and we got everything ready for putting the 3 90-degree grooves in it. That piece actually is meant to go the other way around, but it's on. Right, doing this little bit by hand here. I've got to put 3 90-degree grooves in this bar at 60 degrees. So luckily I've got one of these collets that takes 5C, one of these holders that takes 5C. Now I placed it in the vise. I wasn't going to use a spin indexer, and I thought, well, there's only 3 marks on here, I've already got the vise on, I'll try this. Now I have had to tap this. I've checked it for roundness. It's not brilliant, but it's within inside a thou and a bit. So I put this in here, and I have actually just had to tap it, and it is, if you can see the clock, that's pretty damn straight. I'm going to get this centre fixed down and recheck, obviously. Give me a minute. I'll get this centre fixed down, squared up, and then all these are these 3 grooves at 60 degrees for the index disc that fits on the end of here with the stops. And I thought, well, this is the easiest way I can think of doing it. Like I say, put this in. They're only a 16th deep, but I should be able to repeat it with this. I can put the clock in, make sure it's right, come back again to my 0, my size off here, and anyway, we'll see how we get on. Well, get everything set. This sat in here, inside the 5C collet, the centre clamped, 90-degree spotting drill there. It's got to be a 16th deep, so I'm just going to touch on first off, very light cut, go up. I've checked it with the clock and it's running with inside a thou. This is just for the ball bearing to sit in the indexer, so I've got to put 3 of these in, so we'll see how we go. Just getting a light touch there. Now I'm not going to go mad on this. I'll try a 10th thou first off and just see how we go. Probably do with spinning that a bit faster actually. I'm going to try and just get as close as what I can. I've got room with the bar yet to come. It's supposed to go 2 inches and then you trim the bar, so we'll just go as close as what I can. Now one of them, it wants you to touch on and put a slight groove in there as well, and that's for the grub screw, to help the grub screw in the plate at the end. So we'll try this one first off to the depth it recommends and see what it looks like. Right, so that's the first one done. So I'm going to risk it. Just take this out. Now, 2 flats. You can see the groove there. So let's see, it was on that one. 1, 2. up in there. Right, lightest of touches now to see whether that's gone back and he's parallel. Just touching now. I'll have 5,000. Now obviously I'm going to have to stop here with these two. Because I only want one groove, and then that is going to coincide with the grub screw on the indexing plate. Right, we'll have a visual look. Afraid you can't see it from there. That looks alright, so I'm going to crack on and get the other two done. Finish this one off and do the other one. That is that now finished. So there's going to be some deburring and all the little splinters out of my fingers, I think. Don't know how they got there. Yeah, wherever it's called. This indexing plate, the back of the plate set up now. I was going to put my chuck on, my vice is set up, so what I've done, this hole's already reamed now 8mm, and we've got a 6mm tapped hole here. So I've put a piece of silver steel in there, I've bolted that up, I put it in the vise resting on the bottom of the boss, tightened it up, and I've touched on in 4 points, and it's with inside a couple of thou with this. So what I've done, because I know the back of my jaw, half of 8 is 4, convert it to imperial, it's 157 thou-ish. So obviously I've come into the middle. That looks about right. So now I'm going to pitch out. We've got 3 holes in here. Now one of them has got to be in line with this 6mm. That's why, like I say, I've had a square on here, and it is nice and square. Or square by the eye anyway, which should be good enough. We've got 3 holes on, I think it's 1.5 inch PCD. Obviously there, and there. So I'm going to crack on with them in a minute. Get them drilled through, and obviously these are being tapped for M7 by 0.5 because I didn't have the fine BSF thread. So we'll get these done, and that's that bit then finished. Now put the 3 holes in, I'll get on and tap these. Now we've got it all blown out, we shall try one of our mating pieces. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll put it through a hole that goes all the way through. A little bit tight, that. I'll take it out later on, run the tap through. I've also got the die, I can also run the die down here. Now that one's a little bit better, might be a bit of swarf. We'll try it all later on, see how we get on. I lost some footage here, but I just made some nuts using the Stevenson's blocks again. And again, sorry for this, lost some more footage as well. This is what I managed to recover. This was just putting the screwdriver slots in the top of the little adjusting screws that are going in the indexing plate. This was just speeded through making the tool bit that's going to fit on the end of the ram. Bit ironic really, I'm actually making a cutter grinder or a tool grinder to make all these little tools, and you end up doing this bit by hand, but never mind. Just a little bit of a rake on the end of it as well. I might show it a little bit more later on. Quick little assembly here just to see how things are going. I was quite pleased with it all actually, to be honest. A little bit of deburring here and there, but as you can see, I'm quite happy. Okay, it's together. Is it alive? Right, well, we're going to find out. Now I've had to do a little bit of modification to my tool post, cut this down a bit. Obviously there's been a little bit of tinkering, but to be honest it all seems to have got together. So I've set these stops now. You can see how they click in. They obviously, the nearer they are, you get a little bit of play in that, but you can, it is clicking in the ball bearings. Now set these 3 stops just with a vernier. I mean, obviously you can count your revolutions off your squares, and obviously you can see the ring that's got 1 on it, that's got 3 on it, that's got 2 on it. So we're going to go anti-clockwise. I mean, you know, later on we're setting up, it could, oops, sorry, later on we're setting up, I'll do it again. That's got 1, so you can see it a bit better there. That's got 1, it's got 2, it's got 3. You set it up how you want, but let's see if I can get it set up right. I've got it set up to do, and they're not going to be accurate in any sense, but the depth wise I'm going to do three grooves, 12mm, 6mm, 3mm approximately. So we'll get set up and see how it goes. Right, excuse the hands held, but it's testing time now. Now, a few things. I've had to set this up in one of my tool holders, and I've cut this bolt down a bit so I can get a bit more. That's better. Bit more movement on here. Now, I've set these pins up as well, and what I've done, I've set the first one up on a stop. I'll wind that off so I can show you. There you are. Right, that's up against there. Then I've just measured for time being with a vernier, and then what I've done with the next one, I've moved it in 3mm, so whatever line I'm doing should be 3mm shorter. And then I've done it with the third one. You see you've got your lines on here, so if you want to keep count, and I'm going clockwise, so then you're back round to 1, 2 and 3. Now I've tried to get as much play, there was a little bit of play in there, but obviously you use this the floating clamp on the top. Now the other thing is, what they don't tell you, which is very good, is this brass screw here, it's got a plate, it's got a plate down there, and you unscrew it, move the plate out the way, and you can draw this all the way out. So the trouble is, you see, you might set it up and you think, oh heck, this is in the way of something, but it's very easy to screw that plate back. Yeah, well, tell you what, let's try it. Right, that's all the way back. There you go. So you can then move it round, and you can put it into whichever position. Oops, let's pan back a bit. Pan back. You can put it into whichever position you want. Put it back in, Move the finger plate back in, then nip it up. I'm assuming that's what this is for. Then obviously you can move your handle around to whichever. I mean, it's like there, that's getting a bit close, but it's missing there. If it does the job, it does the job, but it just gives you that little bit of flexibility. Like I say, I'm assuming that's what it's for. So anyway, I've got the shorties setting, and what I did to set this up, might as well show you. Sorry, it's the shortest setting on here, so it'll be the longest travel, and I want 12mm. So I've got a touch on the face. Like I say, I'm on DRO, so I set my DRO to 0, and then I moved in. We're doing it in metric for this time. I moved in approximately, because we're going to try it, 12mm. Now what I've got to do now is ever so slowly move in till I get a scratch on there. I'll do that off camera now and get set up for the next bit. Right, now I'm hoping all of this is going to be in focus. Now I've got a touch on, and they tell you about 4 thou. I suppose it depends on what you think, what you want. Mine's probably about 6 thou. So as I touch on with the travel, this one should go approximately about 12mm. That's against its stop. See, there's a nice groove there. Now like I say, I've no way of indexing round this round at the moment, so I'm just by hand going to move it a little bit. Now come over here, I'm going clockwise. That falls into the ball bearings that are in there. You felt it kind of physically drop in there. Yes, I've got a bit of play in there as well. I think it's a little bit baggy at this end, but this is just a stop. So right, so this should be 3mm shorter than that one. Just do 2 for good luck. And we come round again. I'm trying to think, actually, have I set that correct? Yes I have. Sorry, going mad, making sure I've set that, the third one, correct. Right, move this round a little bit, and this should be 3mm shorter than the other one. Right, now I can quite happily wind this away because I've got my DRO set. So away we go. And there, just snap them off, is our 3 marks. I'll get a vernier. I'm not too sure what the depth is I've done them to. Well, actually, that should be 12mm. Might be a little bit out of focus there. I've got it about 12.5 actually. Look, no, 12.2 approx. So the next one should be about 9.2ish. What are we on there? There's 10. Yeah, we're getting there. It's a little, you'll have to excuse me, it's a little bit kind of Heath Robinson. So then we should be talking about 6.2ish. Yeah, that's not bad if I score that at 6.2. Right, well, let's go back and do that at 9.2 then. 9.250. And go back for, what did I say, about 12.2. Right, if we can all see them, that's pretty good. I can feel them with my nail. I'm quite happy with that. Like I said, a little bit of tinkering, but it works. Yes, you have to make sure you've got your play out of there. You've got to make sure when you grind your tool, you've got a little bit of relief at the back. There is a little bit of setting up work involved, but overall, excuse me, I'm very happy with this. I shall get it back on the bench in a bit and do a little bit of a carry-on conclusion. Well, we're back on the bench. You can see them. I am happy with them. Like I said, there's a little bit of tinkering going on, and I'm happy with how this has gone together. Follow the drawings and it all comes into play. Now, I will say, where's the piece that went wrong? 1 minute. There. Now, is this kit worth it over the other one? Yes. Them stops are brilliant. I've just done that with a vernier and I'm very happy. Yes, you'll have to set it up yourself, but making them little lines there, 3mm difference, just using a vernier, it works. So you'll have repeatability all the way around. Now, value for money. Yeah, it is. See this bit that I went and screwed up? I didn't have any stock. I had a massive piece of metal that I was going to use, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to find some stock. So I rang up a stockist that stocks material, and I asked for this size, and I said, have you got any offcuts? And he says, yes, we have. And the offcut, and I got an offcut, what, a couple of foot plus, maybe a metre, well, it might have been going on for 3 foot. The offcut, and he couldn't do me anything else, was 1/3 of what all these bits cost. So really, you know, the value for money, you get everything included in here. Okay, provide your own cutters. You get all the screws, the little springs. I've made some of these different sizes, that's up to me, but the stock, all the pieces, I haven't hardened anything either. Is it worth it? Yes, it bloody well is. No, I'm not affiliated with Hemingway. I mean, I paid for this and I paid for my other one, but yeah, I'm very happy with that. I've got the jobs to do later on the Quorn, and I've got other jobs that I'm going to do with this, and hopefully in the future there might be the odd little modification. But anyway, thanks for watching. I am happy with this now, and it's going to go into producing things. Thanks very much.